transportation of food, oxygen, and materials from one part of the body to the other part of body takes place in animals too. In unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium, euglena, the transportation of substances takes place by diffusion. In aquatic animals like sponges and hydra, there is simple water circulatory system for the movement of materials. Water, food particles, and oxygen enter their body through pores in the sponges and the mouth in the hydra. Carbon dioxide and other waste is removed from their body through the. On the other hand, in human beings, the transportation of food, blood, oxygen, and other gases takes place through the circulatory system. In addition, the waste material is eliminated from the human body through the excretory system. So both circulatory system and excretory system we are going to talk about. First, we'll talk about the human circulatory system. So it is also known as the cardiovascular system. The term cardiovascular system is formed with the two words cardio, that is a Greek word which means heart, and vascular, that is vasculum, which is the Latin word that is small vessels. The main components of the cardiovascular system, or say the circulatory system, are the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. When blood circulates in the human body, it takes oxygen from the lungs, nutrients from the small intestine, and hormones from the endocrine glands and delivers them to the different cells of the body. The blood vessels then take carbon dioxide and waste from body cells and deliver them to the lungs and kidneys, from where they are excreted from the human body. Let's talk in detail about the components of the circulatory system. The first one is the blood. So blood is the body fluid connective tissue, and it forms a vital part of the human circulatory system. Its main functions is to circulate nutrients, hormones, minerals, and other essential components to different parts of the body. Blood flows through specific pathways called the blood vessels. It also transports oxygen from lungs to the body cells, carbon dioxide from cells to the lungs. It also transports liquid waste generated into the body to the kidney for their removal. Blood is composed of plasma, the fluid, pale yellowish part of the blood, and it is composed of 90% of water. It consists the cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. It has food, waste, and also enzymes dissolved in it. As I told you, blood is a fluid connective tissue. It contains the cells. So let's talk about the cells present in the blood. So the first one is red blood cells, which is also called as RBCs. They are also called as erythrocytes. The main function of red blood cells is to store the hemoglobin, which is a respiratory pigment that binds oxygen or carbon dioxide molecule. This helps in the transportation of oxygen to different tissues, where when oxygen binds with hemoglobin, forms oxyhemoglobin, and when blood reaches the cells that need oxygen, it breaks down to form oxygen and hemoglobin. The oxygen is used by the cell, and the hemoglobin becomes free to carry more oxygen. So hemoglobin is mainly composed of iron, which combines with the oxygen, thus giving a reddish color to the blood. Further talking about the shape of RBCs, they are disc shaped cells. The lifespan of RBC is 100 to 120 days. The second type of cell present in the blood is the white blood cells, WBCs, which are also called as leukocytes. These cells act as a defense system against any infection in the human body. They produce special kinds of proteins called antibodies, which identify and fight pathogens invading the human body. They are generally bigger than the red blood cells. They are lesser in number. They are of various shapes and generally help in destroying the foreign material, as I told you. Hence, they help in the building the immune system. They are colorless as they do not have the hemoglobin. The lifespan of WBC is 12 to 20 days. Blood along with RBCs and WBCs also contains platelets, which are tiny blood cells, colorless, round, formed in the bone marrow. If a person gets injured, then blood starts flowing from the cut or wound at the site of the injury. The body cannot afford to let the blood flow out of the body, right? So, after some time, a dark red clot is formed which plugs the cut and bleeding stops. Now, this blood clot is formed due to the presence of platelets in the blood. So, the main function of platelets is to help the blood clot. Children, hemophilia is a genetic disorder in which patients do not have certain clotting factors in his blood. So there is no clotting of blood. Even a small wound or cut can prove fatal to such person as they can bleed to death. The other main component of blood circulatory system is the blood vessel. So the networks of hollow tubes like pipe which carry blood to and from all parts of the body are called the blood vessels. Okay, so these are the kind of tubes or say the pipe through which the blood flows. These vessels carry blood in both the directions, that is one from the heart to all the other parts of the body and another from all body parts to the heart. There are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. Okay, so let's talk about arteries first. Okay, so these arteries are the main blood vessels that carry and transport oxygenated blood or say oxygen rich blood from the heart to other parts of the body. They are the strongest blood vessels with thicker walls and are muscular in nature. Okay, so all the arteries carry oxygen rich blood. The arteries have thick and elastic muscular walls. Why? Because the blood flow is rapid and at high pressure. Okay, so in arteries the blood pressure is at a high and it's a rapid continuous flow of blood. So further, if you see the location, the arteries lie quite deep under our skin and hence they cannot be seen easily. The second type of the blood vessel is the vein, that is the veins. These are the blood vessels that carry blood from all the parts of the body back to the heart. Now all veins except the pulmonary vein carry carbon dioxide rich blood which is called as deoxygenated blood. Okay, these blood vessels are with low pressure and move in a upward direction, that is from the cells, tissues and other organs to the heart. The Veins have thin and less elastic muscular walls because the blood flow is not rapid, and as I told you, it is at low pressure. The veins are less deeply situated than arteries. The greenish blue lines which we see just below the skin of our hands and legs are the veins. They have valves which allow the blood to flow in one direction only, that is only towards the heart. The third type of blood vessel is the capillaries. These capillaries are extremely thin blood vessels which connect arteries to veins. Through the thin walls of the capillaries, exchange of the materials takes place. The useful substances present in the blood passes into the body cells through the capillaries. At the same time, the waste products like carbon dioxide formed in the blood body cells enter the blood through the thin walls of capillaries. So thus we can say that the capillaries bring about the exchange of substances between blood and tissues. This vessels also function by connecting arterial systems to the venous system and help in exchange of the substances across the. Talking about the blood groups, we know there are types of blood groups: A, B, AB and O. So people with blood group O are called universal donors because they do not have antigen on the surface of RBCs. People with blood group AB are the universal receivers, that is they can receive blood from any of the donor, that is from A also, B also and O also. So they are called as universal donor.